Good morning! I am Domingo Balote Jr.,
Julian Doliantas, David Banyaran,
Rodrian Sipalvin,
Gina Aguilar,
and George Sipalvin Jr. And we are the researchers of Building Resilience of Education in Rapo Elementary School areas amidst pandemic. Our research title is Building Resilience of Education in Rapo Elementary School areas amidst pandemic. Introduction. Building resilience and education system is especially important so that individual, school, communities, and institutions develop the capacity necessary to maintain safe, relevant, equitable education opportunity and learning outcomes for all students. Education systems have certain attributes that make them uniquely placed for building individual, community, and systemic resilience. In times of adversity, education retains high public value and demands reaches population at scale and serves as a critical hub for information sharing the symbiotic relationship between resilience and education.
So for our statement of the problem, this study building resilience of education amidst pandemic in specific school areas in Rapo determines the issues and challenges of the educators and students in teaching and learning continuity during pandemic. So this study aims to solve the following problem. Number one, what are the experience and challenges of teaching and learning amidst pandemic? Number two, what strategies did you do to resilient education amidst pandemic? Number three, how will you determine that your teaching and learning strategies are affected during a pandemic to assure that despite the health crisis, the learners are still learned by the strategies you use? Number four, what are the strategies you use to assure that the learners will learn during the crisis? Number five, how will you build a resilient education to those learners who live in places that lacks internet access and far from school? How will you give them a good quality education, especially during the time of pandemic? Number six, what are the bases that the learners learn by the modules you give? Even if there's an answer at the back and there's a possibility that some parents are answering the modules, how will you assure that every child will learn? Number seven, what will happen if a student stops or drops their school year because of the pandemic? How will you interact them to finish the school year? So number eight, for learners, how do you cope up with the new normal platforms? What are the available resources you use to finish modules? How do you prepare for an online class? So for our number nine, for learners, what are the challenges you face exercise in the new normal of learning? So number 10, what could be your recommendations to build resilience in education system amidst the pandemic?
These are the scope and the limitation of the study. This study focused on building resilience education in specific school areas, the Rapo Central School, Manaknao Elementary School, and Akal Elementary School. Amidst the pandemic, we're verifying the teaching learning strategies and the challenges of every teacher during crisis to resilient the continuity of education. New learning process indicate high stress level to every educator, especially to those teachers who assigned to the areas are lack of resources. No internet connection, lack of transportation, and lack of digital tools that will affect to implement the learnings and the learning materials to every learners. That's why educators have had to shift into a modular type of learning system process to ensure the continuity of education during pandemic.
Significance of the study. This study is beneficial to every teachers. Were assigned in rural areas that are lack of source, no internet connection, lack of transportation, and lack of digital tools, especially in the time of pandemic. Educators in rural areas need to cope the change and challenge for the continuity of learning to build resilience education amidst the pandemic. Education is very important for everybody to learn new facts, things, and skills. Having an opportunity to learn always benefits to the individuals. When the pandemic comes, everything was changed, especially in terms of education. Teachers and learners were affected by new normal of learning, and that was the biggest problem faced by the teachers and learners. This study beneficial also the learners, parents, and the community in rural areas, especially in some barangay at Rapu-Rapu Islands. It will help to cope the change and challenge amidst pandemic and also to protect the health of learners and educators.
Research method or design. This research of the study had used opinion-based methods. This research also includes designing experiment that will answer those questions being asked on the statement of the problem in collecting quantitative data. We had provided the respondents, students, with questionnaires which is used to gather those information and needed in our study.
Source of data. Our source of data are internet people and other studies. Respondents. Our respondents are the grade 4 and 5 and 6 students of Manaknang Elementary School and Akal Elementary School. Research instrument. Our research information is provided by the internet, other people, and other studies. Data gathering. Respondents were given some questionnaire in order to collect this data. The questionnaire that are given were made in order to answer the questions on this study. Once the data is collected, the analysis of result following.